Hello, good morning. It is Monday, the 14th of March. I'm sorry I wasn't able to post yesterday, which was the second Sunday in Lent, due to family commitments. I've managed to read from page 19 to 33. So I have reached the 200 page mark. I did actually already do this video, but for some reason my phone decided to delete it, which seems to be happening a lot lately. So I'm a little bit annoyed. So basically, in a nutshell, Tessa's back with Harden. She's found out her dad's back. So she's been put in a situation where she doesn't want to be at her mother's, but she doesn't want to be with Harden. But she can't afford to stay at a motel anymore. So for anyone who's been in a situation like that where you are faced with homelessness, you will end up doing something that you might not feel comfortable with, even if it means staying with someone you don't want to live with. Because it's better to have a roof over your head sometimes than not at all. So for anyone who's been in that situation, you can probably relate. The other thing that I kind of quickly mentioned is that Tessa's dad's back in the picture. It has been 8 years since she's been aware of him. She's 19 now. Her mother made the decision not to tell her straight away. She found out from Noah. Her mother feels it's best for Tessa not to have any affiliation with him. But she's a 19-year-old woman now. She's not a child. So for her mum to make that decision without even telling her, I think was inappropriate. Which is why Tessa ends up going back to Harden's apartment that she's renting with him. His mother is over from England. Tessa's trying to keep up the pretense that her and Harden are in a relationship. They haven't broken up. But obviously Trisha is probably in her 40s. She's one of these women that's able to see the wood from the trees. And she basically says to Tess, what has he done? Be honest. I know my son. Okay? And so she doesn't tell her everything. But again, Tessa's now in that situation where she is becoming an adult. She's spending more time with women who are maturer, who have had life experiences, and are basically saying to her, if you want to be with Harden, be with him, but don't be a doormat. But at the same time, they are manipulating the situation by giving her the confidence to say that she's the best thing that's ever happened to him. So she's got Trish, who's Tessa's mother, saying this. She's got Karen saying this to her, who is Ken's new wife. And she has kind of got Kim saying that to her, who is Vance Publishing's receptionist, but also Vance's partner. So all of these three women in her life have become very sort of essential to her in like transitioning from being a child into womanhood. They've also shown her a different way of living. They've shown her a way to be inspired, a way to have the confidence she needs to be herself, which is something her mother hasn't really offered her, which is a shame that she doesn't have that kind of relationship with her mother. Even when she goes to visit her mom, she's very like, why didn't you ring me? How dare you wear that dress to my house? You should have rang me. Because she doesn't like being seen, even by her own daughter, as not being perfect, being flawed. Whereas Trisha's like wearing trackies all the time. Kim, obviously, she is kind of takes pride in her appearance, it's part of her job. And even Karen, she's a mother of a teenage son. But again, she's kind of like, you want to learn how to cook? I'll show you. Trisha's like, let's go out for dinner. Let's go out for breakfast. I don't care what people think. They want to think I'm a slob. Fine. But I'm wearing this tracksuit. Whereas her mom won't even be in the house without makeup. So Tess is kind of like being forced back into a relationship with Harden because of the people that are around her and the influence they have on her. as an individual. No one's actually really spoken to Harden about his behaviour. They've all spoken to Tess. So again, it's, you're so great for him. We've seen a change in him. But if you don't want to be with him, don't be with him. But it's been quite manipulative. I think the way that she's been pressured in a way to go back to Harden isn't any different to the way that her mom has been trying to get her back with Noah. Harden has tried to apologise, tried to admit his flaws, promised he won't hurt her again, but at the same time he knows that arguing with her is inevitable. So they're back together, but at the same time, is it a good thing that they are? Tess is kind of hoping that if she does meet her dad, he might be a bit like Ken and have turned over a new leaf. Harden knows the likelihood of this happening isn't going to have happened. Everyone's concerned because Harden started drinking again, even his mother. Tess has this heart-to-heart with his mom, where she has to confess that she knows who Karen is. She knows about the assault on his mom. But again, because of, I suppose, her age and what she's been through, she is understanding. Yes, she's upset because she's been put in that vulnerable situation. But at the same time, it's like, well, I'm glad he's opened up to somebody. He needed to talk to someone. And I was glad it was you. She's kind of relieved that Ken's moved on. She's moved on. That his new wife is supportive of him. Because anyone with an addiction, it doesn't matter what the addiction is, it's all about the support. But ultimately, you are the one who has to make that decision to get well. He is still going to be a recovering alcoholic. That's never will go away. But not everyone is able to achieve or make that change or transition. It doesn't happen overnight. So again, even Harden, although he says he doesn't drink, we all know that he does. Even Tessa knows he does. When things get tough, that's what he does. So he's not what I would class an alcoholic as such, or even a functioning alcoholic. But he does have an issue with alcohol. He has an issue with emotions. So at the moment, everyone's trying to play happy families, and that's from chapter 19 to 33. So I'm going to leave it there in a nutshell, and I will continue with the book. I would admit that my first video was probably a little bit better, a little bit more detailed. I mean, Steph and Tristan have seen Tess since the humiliation. Steph's also told her that Harden did beat up Jace and that him and Molly aren't really friends at the moment. But again, her attitude to Tessa is, well, if you can forgive Harden for what he did, why can't you forgive me? So again, it does feel like everyone's sort of like manipulating her a little to get what they want. And maybe they don't truly have her best interests at heart. But at the same time, she's looked at this situation and gone, right, okay, I know what he did is awful, but can I afford to be homeless over Christmas? So we shall see what happens after chapter 33. And hopefully I will finish by Thursday. If not, I'm hoping to be finished by next Saturday, which will be the third Saturday of Lent. So thank you for your time and enjoy the day.